Before we start up, check out the Dork Album Volume 1. You can pre-order it now right off of Indiegogo. Support the channel. Let's do the thing. Learn a little something. Take a lesson. Learn it all. Welcome back, guys. I don't know if you remember, but back around February of this year, 2019, I tried to take my Quake up against the collector to see how far I can get, but as you can see, my ability accuracy was reduced, and therefore I couldn't do my Quake and Bake thing. Hence, Quake Destroys 17% of the collector was born. Now, admittedly, I didn't come up with this, even though I probably should have, because I know all about this, but I had a sub tell me, you know what, why don't you use the Black Widow synergy? It helps increase the ability accuracy so that he can't reduce as much. And I was like, oh, that's right. So if you know who you are, just go ahead and put that down in the comments. Be like, yo, that was me, Dave. And I'll be like, word. And I'll put a little heart on it and like on it and comment on it. But anyway, you're probably wondering why I have 3 Quakes here. Well, that is the synergy. So as you can see, Hawkeye gives plus 15% ability accuracy, and that is on the main Quake, where Black Widow gives plus 15% also, but increases duration and potency. So that's going to help with those stuns. I have a 4-star Quake there that does the same thing, 15 and 15, and then you have a 3-star Quake that only has 1, which is another 12% with Hawkeye. And of course, the other 2 in the team are the Catalysts. Now, I did the whole line all the way up to the collector with Quake, so if you want to see that, just keep on watching. If not, I went and pinned a comment down below, and it has a timestamp to get right to the collector if you just want to get there. Here we go. So on each one of these fights, there is Bane level 3, which means you do not want to have any kind of contact at all, especially if they hit you, because then the Bane goes on you, but if you hit them, the Bane goes on them, but it's eventually going to switch back to you, and we don't want to deal with that at all. So what I ended up doing on some of these fights were taking advantage of parries and then just starting to attack to just finish up the fight while letting D-Gen do some of the work for me off of Bane. So right here, I take advantage of taking on a parry and just finishing this out. So you'll see as he backs off, he's going to go in with his combos. And as my timer starts to finish out, I'm going to take advantage of a parry right here and just attack, let D-Gen take over and finish him out. Now, I know it's pretty to never have to use a parry, but I use them to stay safe. Sometimes the AI knows just how to time it to get you to use your heavy and then activate that D-Gen off of Bane. So I'm just trying to be a little bit careful here and use it to my advantage. So here again, you'll see I'm right towards the end of my timer here. I got that parry and I went in with the attacks, and the timer was long enough for me to get more than 1 combo, and that comes courtesy of the Black Widow synergy that has been multiplied by 2 to have extended stuns. Now this is always a little weird. You get the last hit of the combo right out of the stun, so it kind of does throw your rhythm off just a little bit, but you gotta be able to know that that can come every so often, and we're gonna go ahead and do one last set of quaking and take advantage of that parry, going for the full attack, bam, and we let the degen and the aftershock take over. That's another win. And right here is one of those points. As you see, I have the heavy attack, but the stun caught it right before it made contact, and I let go of heavy just by default because that's what you do. It made it look like it connected, so I had to switch up a little bit, keep an eye on that Bane, and make sure that I transferred it over at just the right time to make sure I mitigated any loss of health, which was really only about 2%. And here we have Symbiote Spidey, and we're gonna run into that same exact problem, and I think it has a little bit to do with that hang time on that kick there, because Electro and him do share that same animation, and that does cause a problem for Quake trying to time out that last heavy attack. And it's a real great way to get Bane activated, and it's so annoying. But we endure, so we have our Quake here, and we're going for a more Quake and Bake style. We're relying on our parries and using those stuns to our advantage, and we're going to go in and attack as much as we can and hope to get a parry, which we get right here, and that is over. Still with our 98%, on to the next fight. Right here, I'm just gonna go for a parry, bam, and then just hit out the rest and get it done. Sometimes that's a little bit of a safer way to go. You never know if an input might drop, or you might have that problem where you're touching Dex and holding heavy at the same time, so why risk having to use a potion when you're using Quake? Now here you're going to notice me using blocks in a few places, just trying to be safe, because sometimes the AI kind of knows how to trip up a Quake player, so using block is sometimes a safe way to go, especially since his heavy attack is just one attack. You can just hold heavy for an easy evade. right here because he's so close to going down. I just got the parry, knocked him out with the heavy attack, got that Bane going, and let the aftershock do the rest. It speaks for itself. So here I'm going to get her into that stun and concussion with the aftershock. I do a heavy attack to drop on that Bane, but I kind of didn't really pay attention. That could have been bad, so I took a little bit of block damage, but Bane ended up doing the rest. Alright, on to the next. We're finally here at the main thing, the Pina Collector. But first I want to show you one of the pitfalls that you have to pay attention to. Now, because he shares the same kind of an animation ramp with Magneto, you do get this whiffing thing that happens right here. It doesn't activate the auto evade, and it can really throw you off in your timing and in your rhythm, and it's a very easy way to activate, you guessed it, Bane. And once you've activated that, the match is pretty much over and the magic is gone. So your strike matching has to be on point. You have to be able to recognize it and know to hold your heavy. And that's really the hardest part about this. Okay, now that we know that, let's get on to the main event and see how well Quake can do. We're not even gonna heal up, we're just gonna go in with that 88 and see what we can do. Now, as you can see, I'm just doing heavy attacks here because my evade goes pretty far back and his dash stops pretty short. And this is going to save you some time. The more you can do this and be away from the wall, the better. And deal with it when you get to the actual wall. Now, as you can see, that whiffing hit, you gotta pay attention to because that is the key to defeating him with Quake. Now here I'm using the counting method and I'm watching for strike matching to see when his last hits are coming in. Now another technique that I use here is to make sure to be safe with blocks if I'm not sure. So you'll see right here I'm going to hold block and that baits out a heavy, which is very, very easy to get away from if you use your heavy attack. It's just a simple evade. So here we go, going back in, he backs off, he's coming in for another set of combos. Boom, I put him into the stun. Now this isn't going to last too long because at some point the immunities are going to kick in and the stuns are no longer going to be viable for me. And that's happening right here. As you can see, he just goes right into immunity and he goes right back in. Now, I've got to keep a sharp eye on that and make sure that I am not catching that whiffing hit. I am super scared at this point, like my heart's racing, and I'm like, I cannot slip up even for a second. He's at 30%, and we bait out the heavy. We got out of the way with our heavy attack, and we're going for the full-on Quake and Shake. Collector back at it with a full combo, trying to trick me, but he is not doing it. I'm keeping a sharp eye out for that last hit on the light attack there, and it is not coming out. I'm ready for it. He does a heavy attack. I get another heavy. We go for another full combo. He backs off for another chance, comes back in, tries to trick me with the little whiff thing right here, but he is not successful on this 5-hit combo. Bam, I stay into the heavy. We are now down to 11%. This is getting pretty crazy. The heart is racing. I'm going for the full 5-hit Quake and Shake, and the Collector cannot even touch me. He's trying to trick me. We're down to 4%. We're almost out of the thing, and he gets one hit off of that ability accuracy reduction, but I stick with it. I'm going through one more Quake and Shake, get to the aftershock, and it's done. Collector down. Learn a little something. Take a lesson. Learn it all. Baby, hold it down.